to train heavy lifts while fasting as opposed to doing calisthenics or body weight, even if it's weighted calisthenics, right? I would say the heavy lifting, whether you're benching, whether you're using machines, that is far more difficult, in my opinion, than doing weighted calisthenics. I've been hitting PRs doing weighted calisthenics for this year and last year. So for the last 2 years now, I've been doing weighted calisthenics during the month of Ramadan, and I put up PRs. I hit a 2 rep max for 2 sets, 55-pound muscle ups for 2 reps, 2 sets last year on the rings. Um, this year, yesterday, matter of fact, and this past weekend, I hit numbers with the 25-pound plate for max reps, right? So I did 5 reps for like 2 sets last weekend, and then I did 6 reps, which was a PR last night. So or last evening, right before at the time of breaking the fast. So that's another time that I will break my fast, or excuse me, I will get my training in. Is at the time of Salat al-Asr, like we explained at another video, the previous video that we mentioned about Ramadan and training. This is me personally. I can go the whole day, not eat nothing, and get a workout in, get a training segment in, get my training in because of the simple fact that it's in my system already, right? So if it's not in your system, don't now try and tell people that it's now dangerous to do because you're dehydrated, you don't have any calories to burn, etc., etc. You know. And speaking of the calories, right, we'll get right into the time of iftar. At the time of iftar, for me personally, being an ectomorph, being somebody that is a hard gainer, I started off my fitness journey at 155 pounds, and now today I walk around 195. Right, I probably lost about 5 pounds since Ramadan started, so probably at 190. Allah knows best. But at the time of iftar, I'm stocking up on my carbs. I'm stocking up on my carbs for a reason because I know in the morning I'm not going to stock up on my carbs, right? Definitely going to have my dates, definitely going to have my watermelon, bananas, make my collagen smoothie, all that. But I'm stocking up on my carbs. Either I get it from rice, wild rice, pasta, sweet potato, red potatoes, my spelt flour waffles, my spelt flour wraps, um, etc. Pita bread, hummus. I'm stocking up on my carbs and I'm doing this strategically, right? I'm almost excessively going over my calorie count that I would do for a meal because I want to have those carbs stored into fat. I want to have those carbs stored into fat so that way I have some fat to burn off the next day on my training day. This is very important. Why? Because we need something to burn off. A lot of people they use this excuse that I'm gonna be burnt out. I'm not gonna have no energy. Well, if you have body fat, you're going to tap into the body fat before you tap into the muscle. So you're not going to necessarily lose muscle, and that's another myth that's been circulating the internet is that you're going to lose muscle. You may lose a little bit, but it depends how you train. That in that case, you may not lose any muscle mass at all. You know what I'm saying? If you do lose some muscle mass, you're going to lose something. Let's get that understood. But it's not going to be nowhere near the amount of body fat that you're going to lose first and foremost going into a dry fast or uh, a Ramadan fast, an Islamic fast, right? It's nowhere going to be near the same amount. Um, that's just how the body is programmed. So that's something that you got to keep in mind first. That's why you see a lot of guys, they come out of Ramadan, they come out a lot more cut, they come out a lot more explosive, they come out a lot more energized and they feel lighter. Not because they lost the weight, because their body also had time to repair itself. Train less, train less during the month of Ramadan. Do 3, 4 days. Don't do the 5, 6, 7 days. Do 3, 4 days. Give your body time to rest, and I can guarantee not only you will hit PRs during this month if you incorporate the progressive overload methods, but you will also find it that your body will repair itself. Your body's not focusing on digesting food. So therefore, what is your body going to do? Your body's going to now focus on repairing the muscle fibers that you have damaged over the course of your life. So this is just something that you want to keep in mind. And of course, we're not trying to you know provoke anybody to be any soldier or warrior or anything like that. But it's very important to understand that the Sahaba, the pioneers of this religion, they were in battle 1400 years ago when they took back Mecca from the Mushrikun, right? They took back Mecca from the Mushrikun, and this was after years of persecution, years of the Muslims getting slaughtered. This was after years of being boycotted and not able to feed themselves, their daughters and their wives and their grandmothers. They weren't able to have a quality life, right? As some would say today. But they had the Deen of Islam, they had Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they had the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. They were fasting during the time of Ramadan when that war jumped off at the Battle of Badr. Right? This is a well-known story that even the non-Muslims know. And of course, we don't need their praise, but even the non-Muslims know about this battle. Then Muslims were outnumbered. This is in the history books. It was approximately about around the 300s, I believe, right? The Muslims were, and I believe the Mushrikun, the disbelievers at the time, they were well over 1,000 or a little bit over 1,000, I believe, right? So they were outnumbered, 3 to 1 for each man, and they came out on top, very little casualties, and they took back the city of Mecca from the Mushrikun. They were fasting. They were depleted. They were in the desert in Arabia, right? So remember that the next time you want to come up with an excuse, the Muslims were getting active back in the day during the time of Ramadan. They were getting active, and yet we have people on here talking about it's dangerous to exercise and fast during Ramadan. This is nonsense. It may be dangerous for you, but it's not dangerous for myself and many other Muslims, right? Likewise, our team members on our Team Workhorse, Demetrius Chaos Lewis, he won a National Golden Glove tournament in Cleveland last year during the month of Ramadan, right? I believe he fought in the 112 division. And then likewise, we also have Shaquille Daly, who just made his pro debut last weekend during the month of Ramadan. First round knockout in his first win as a pro, So, and he also, I picked his brain a little bit, and he told me like he's been fasting and having to spar for years during the month of Ramadan. So this isn't something new. This isn't something taboo that, athletes, Muslim athletes have been getting active. Even Kyrie Irving, Allah knows best what manhaj he is on, but I believe he even mentioned that he was fasting last year during the month of Ramadan, and he was putting up, record numbers, I believe. I don't follow basketball like I used to, excuse me. But, this is something that can be done, right? Just have to have the mental discipline. So hope I covered everything. Just remember, like, if this is something that may be difficult for you, you might want to hold off. Just gradually work your way into an actual training while fasting or fasting while training. This isn't something that I would probably jump into for 30 days, 29 days. If you've never done it before, you may just want to start focusing on doing a dry fast or implementing the Sunnah days outside of Ramadan and kind of get a feel for it. A very low impact exercise that you can use is the PPP, the push pull portable. You can find these on our umasadanaturals.shop website. The link, like I said, is going to be in the description in this video. These are starting at $30. Yes, these are also known as the Ripstick. Shout out to Shuaib al Islam from Team Ripright. But yes, you can start off using that very low impact device that you can pretty much do anywhere. Like I can, be sitting here on this interview, getting reps in. I can be on a plane, doing that. So, we got a video on there on this channel. Matter of fact, you can have to scroll down to like 2, maybe 3 years ago. We've been selling these for a minute, but it can give you a full breakdown on how to use that if you guys aren't familiar with it. Yeah, that's pretty much everything. This is a 20-minute video, and I got to get back to my wife. She's not feeling good. So until next time, Ramadan Mubarak to all the Muslims and Muslim out there. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.